Over the past few years, the world has witnessed a series of events that have affected both global security and the global economy at the same time. The ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine, rising tensions in the Middle East, the growing technology and trade rivalry between the United States and China, and the continuous increase in defense spending around the world. Following these developments, one question has been raised again and again. Is the world moving toward World War III? At this moment, no government or international organization has an official answer to that question. However, many economists believe that if the world's major powers were ever to enter a direct military conflict, the first and deepest impact would not be seen on the battlefield, but across the global economy. That is why today, major banks, investors, and central banks are not just monitoring military activities. They are also closely watching oil markets, shipping routes, global supply chains, and financial markets. If we look back at history, every major war has reshaped the global economy. World War I weakened Europe's economic strength. After World War II, the United States emerged as the world's largest economic power. The war eventually ended, but its economic consequences were felt for decades. Today, the world is more interconnected than ever before. If production stops in one country,
the effects can be felt in factories thousands of miles away. If a major shipping route is disrupted, prices of goods begin to rise across the globe. That is why modern wars are no longer limited to national borders. They directly affect global trade as well. Now comes the most important question. If a major global conflict were to break out in the future, what would change first? The answer is energy. The global economy still depends heavily on oil and natural gas. If major oil-producing regions become involved in a large-scale conflict, or if critical shipping routes are disrupted, crude oil prices could rise sharply. And when oil becomes more expensive, transportation costs increase. As transportation becomes more expensive, food, medicine, electronics, and almost every everyday product becomes more costly. This process fuels inflation. And when inflation rises, central banks often respond by increasing interest rates, putting pressure on investment, businesses, and overall economic growth. The next impact is usually seen in global stock markets. History shows that whenever geopolitical tensions escalate, investors tend to move away from risky assets. Many sell stocks and shift their money into gold, government bonds, or cash, which are generally considered safer investments. As a result, the fear of war often increases volatility in stock markets, while gold prices may move higher. However, every situation
is different. Market movements are influenced not only by war, but also by economic policies, interest rates, and overall investor sentiment. But perhaps the greatest risk is to global supply chains. The COVID-19 pandemic showed the world that when international supply chains are disrupted, even a small shortage can grow into a major economic crisis. Now imagine if such a disruption were caused not by a pandemic, but by a large-scale military conflict involving multiple countries. Shipping traffic could slow down, major ports could be affected, the supply of critical raw materials could decline, and large companies could struggle to maintain production. That is one of the reasons why many multinational corporations today are reducing their dependence on a single country and expanding manufacturing across multiple regions. But this brings us to another important question. If war is so expensive, who would actually suffer the greatest economic loss? Would it be the United States, the world's largest economy? Would it be China, the world's manufacturing powerhouse? Would it be Europe, which has long depended on imported energy? Or would it be developing countries, already struggling with inflation and rising debt? That is the question, whose answer lies in the structure of the global economy. If you enjoy well-researched videos on true events, high-profile court cases, mysterious stories, and historic incidents that changed the world, then make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell icon so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching.